And we have someone that I like a lot joining us right now. We got Brian Baldinger joining us ahead of Thursday Night Football with the Broncos taking on the Raiders. And Baldy, before we get to that game, the Broncos did not make a trade yesterday, and I got to ask you, a big name that they were connected with that fans wanted, there were some reports connecting the Broncos with Jalen Waddle, but the cost was just too high. Do you think the Broncos made the right decision not giving up a first-round pick for Jalen Waddle, or do you think that would have taken them over to the top to be Super Bowl contenders?
I think they're Super Bowl contenders now. So I like their young receivers. I like Pat Bryant, and I like Troy Franklin, and Sutton has been a stud. So I don't know. I don't think you have to mortgage the future. I mean, Jalen Waddle would have to learn how to play. I'm not saying he couldn't adjust. I mean, Bo Nix is coming into his own. He made some huge plays against a great defense on Sunday. But you have to learn how to play with some of these guys. I like the young guys. I would keep playing them. I don't see mistakes being made by them. I see a toughness. I see a growth. I don't think that they needed to mortgage any of the future for success this year.
I like it. I agree. I really like the young guys. But just imagine a world where we're sitting here right now and the Broncos did trade for Jalen Waddle. We'd be pretty excited, right? Like all of a sudden, all the Super Bowl talk, we'd be saying like, oh, they could do it. They've got the weapons. Look at this. Is there a part of you that thinks like, at the very least, it'd be a lot of fun if they had done it?
Well, look, he's a name. He's not. I don't think he's not a great player. Like he's got skills, no question. But he's not going to make that big of a difference in the red zone. He could take a short pass and make a long run. But that, Tua will tell you he has trouble finding him. I mean, when Tyreek was there, it really opened up a lot for him. Without Tyreek there, I mean, I've seen days where they couldn't score a touchdown. They couldn't get the ball to him. Now, Tua's different than Bo Nix. I don't want to compare, whatever. But I don't know. Like, I don't think he's a top 10 receiver. And I'm not down on Jalen. I'm very high, though, on a lot of these young guys. I mean, Troy Franklin, like, look, he saw some great corners. Lassiter and Stingley are great. I mean, they're as good as what Denver has and what a couple other teams in this whole league have. But I don't know. I'm pretty bullish on the guys they have right there.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, I do too. When it comes to Troy Franklin, who I think like at this point has the most star potential of those young guys for the Broncos, what does he need to do in your eyes to take his game to that next level to where it wouldn't even be a conversation for the Broncos to trade for a wide receiver?
Well, I thought Lassiter got the best of him on Sunday. I mean, look, that's a great defense. That whole game, like I couldn't stop watching it. It was just, forget about Houston couldn't score. I mean, both teams played defense. Like nobody would want to see either one of these teams in the playoffs, the way they could play defense. If Houston would get there, if Denver stays on path. But, if Troy just needs to keep playing. Like, it's just everything. It's just the vision, seeing man versus zone. Where's the bracket coming from? What's the double team? If Sutton's out and I'm getting all the attention, how am I beating that double team? Like, I feel like, I don't know if Troy thinks like this, but I know this is how Jamar Chase thinks. This is how Justin Jefferson thinks. Like A.J. Brown thinks. I need a plan to get open, and I need a plan after the catch. And I don't know yet if he thinks like that yet. I mean, he might very well. I don't know him well enough. But that's the mentality that no matter you want to play safeties over the top and trail technique underneath. You want to bracket me. If you want to like stone me at the line of scrimmage, I need a plan the way Devontae Adams has a plan, the way the great ones have a plan. Every play, no matter what they see. And I think some of that is only from playing and being around other great players and talking to Surtain and dealing with other great players on the other side to how to defeat some of that stuff.
Baldy, another game and another finger or a nail-biting game for the Broncos.
Finger-biting game.
Yeah, finger-biting game for the Broncos.
No nails left to bite.
Yeah, exactly. Comes down to the very end. My question to you is, are the Broncos playing with fire with how close they're making some of these games? Or do they have that identity of just get to the fourth quarter and as long as it's like a 18-point game, the Broncos are going to win, and they have that fourth quarter identity that actually is scary to play against come the playoffs?
Well, I don't think they can count on, what they did against the Jets or the Giants, and it's win a game like that. I don't think you should leave it. But I mean, that game was deadlocked at 15. Seemed like the whole fourth quarter, and they had a lot of possessions. And finally, Bo had the scramble. He got the touchdown to RJ against the linebacker. It was a great call by Sean. Perfect throw. I mean, they made enough plays. But look, Bo Nix saw man coverage on that scramble to get him in the field goal range, and that was the play that broke Houston's back. They did everything they had to do to limit, what Denver had. And so I got to credit the quarterback there of making a play in that game. Every game is different. Every situation is different week in, week out. Short week against the Raiders. Who knows what they're going to do? They got Brock Bowers back, and I feel like the Raiders should just throw him the ball every play, and they'd be better off. But regardless, are they living on borrowed time? I mean, look, the win streak is the win streak. You stack as many wins as you can any way that you can, and you hope you just keep getting better. I think their defense, now Greenlaw is involved. Hafangas can't be blocked. The defensive line is deep. Like, I feel like this team is ready for a second half push that might make some of these games not so close in the fourth quarter.
I hope you're right. Can we get a little Paltrow update? Because I know that that was one of the things fans are talking about. They want to see, could the Broncos trade for a guard, find some superstar to put in there. But I've liked what I've seen. I think there's a chance that there's like a long-term fit with him and the Broncos starting offensive line eventually. I'm curious what you've seen so far.
Well, I mean, I've always liked him. I liked him last year. I liked him in his role, but now he's a starter. They need him to be good. I feel like he fits right in between Wattenberg and Bowles. Like, I feel like he's right there with the guys, belongs there. And I don't see any reason not to think that you got to upgrade that position right now. I mean, you can. I mean, at one point, Sean paid the two highest guards in all of football in New Orleans. And he was willing to do that. Now, one guy got hurt. The other guy should be in the Hall of Fame. It just depends on how you want to allocate your resources. But I feel like you've got a solid player in there right now. I don't see him. That's a very good defensive front. And I don't know. Like, I thought he was pretty solid up front.
Baldy, settle a debate for us. Earlier we were asking the question, who on the Raiders should the Broncos be most worried about?
Bowers and Max. I mean, those two guys. Max can destroy you on any given, he was bandied about in trade rumors. He never wants to leave the Raiders. I know that. He wants to be a Raider for life, regardless of how they are. But Brock Bowers got hurt the first week. He played with this bulky brace. He didn't do anything for 3 games. Then they sat him and then he came back. And last week he was basically unstoppable. I mean, they should have thrown the 2-point conversion to him. They'd have won that game last week. But that guy, he always is open, and he always makes yards after the catch. Now, I've seen Surtain on him before. Like, that's not going to happen this week. But I've seen Denver think of him like that. Like, we got to put our best defensive player on this guy. Now, I'm sure they're going to have a package for him because they just got rid of Jacoby Myers. So they'll have this Dante Thornton, who's a big, tall, fast guy. I don't know if he's healthy or not right now. I'm not positive. But he's a kid out of Tennessee. He can fly. And they got Trey Tucker. And basically, they've got Brock Bowers. That's the one guy that can beat you defensively just because of how skilled he is.
Baldy, the Broncos have a 2-game lead on the Chiefs over midway through the season. The Chargers, they've got a 1-game lead on, but they are officially without both of their tackles through the rest of the season. Is it too early to say that the Broncos are going to win the AFC West, or do you feel kind of confident in that?
Well, I mean, look, we would think that they would take care of business Thursday at home against the Raiders. But that next game against Kansas City, like if Kansas City comes in there and, Mahomes he'll be at Texas Tech this weekend for a BYU game. I'll be down there. Like, they got the week off.
Get him some extra drinks.
Huh?
Get him some extra drinks.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be on college football game day there on ESPN, I think, the whole show. But regardless, like, that's the team. And they've owned the division, and you've got the lead. But that game, like, if Kansas City wins, you got a 1-game lead. All right. So, and then you still got 7 games to play. So, like, I wouldn't say it's locked up right now because that game's going to go a long ways. And you saw how they beat you last year on a blocked field goal. I mean, you don't know exactly how it's going to go. They're going to be rested. And Andy Reid's record, you can look it up right now. His record after the bye, going back to his days in Philly, it's probably as good as anybody that's ever had bye weeks in the history of this game.
Baldy, we might need you out here in Denver for that game because that's going to be an awesome one. But final one before we let you go. How do the Broncos avoid the upset tomorrow? Because, I mean, they're almost 10-point favorites. Everyone thinks that they're going to win. What's the key to just avoiding the big-time upset?
Well, I mean, I think Sean knows how to coach a team on a short week. I'm sure that, the preparation has been condensed the way he knows how to do it. So I think it starts with the coach and the demands that the coach makes. But, they've got 40 sacks in 9 games right now. Like, I would like to, if you want to win that game, go after Geno Smith, get him 6 times down to the ground and, run away with the sack title. But I would say the pressure on Geno would be the first thing that would get every crowd always gets excited after a sack. The team gets excited. They all celebrate. So I think just piling up sacks right now would be one way to keep the energy real high and keep the Raiders from scoring many points.
I love it, Baldy, and everyone in our community absolutely loves our weekly conversations with you. We love it, and we look forward to talking about an 8-2 Broncos team taking on the Chiefs next week with you. Looking forward to that. Have a great weekend watching ball.
All right, guys, you got it.
Man, awesome to have the legend Baldy on. You got a little nervous chuckle out of Baldy.
Yeah.